Good afternoon, everyone. Today, we'll be presenting our cybersecurity assessment for MedSecure Health Services. Our presentation focuses on the security risk faced by the organization, the possible impacts of those risks, and the security solutions we recommend to improve their network protection. We'll also explain the proposed secure network design and how it helps to protect sensitive patient information. Can you please move to the next slide, Prashant? Um, Presentation overview. In this presentation, we'll first explain the background of MedSecure and its current network environment. Then we'll discuss the major threats and vulnerabilities identified in the organization. After that, we'll go through the risk assessment, recommended security solutions, and the proposed secure network architecture. Finally, we'll finish with our conclusion and implementation roadmap. Can you please move to the next slide? Organization background. MedSecure Health Service is a medium-sized healthcare organization that stores and manages sensitive patient information using digital systems. Their environment includes staff computers, servers, wireless networks, remote access for doctors, cloud backups, and a patient management system. Healthcare organizations are common targets for cyber attacks because medical information is highly valuable and sensitive. Recently, MedSecure experienced suspicious network activity, phishing attacks, and concerns about unauthorized access to patient records. This creates serious risks because healthcare organizations must comply with laws like the Privacy Act 1988 and the Health Records Act 2001. Can you please move to the next slide? Yep. Threats and vulnerabilities analysis. This slide shows the main threat identified in the organization. One major threat is phishing, where attackers trick employees into giving away login details. Ransomware is another serious threat that because it can lock patient records and disrupt healthcare services. Weak passwords and insecure remote access also increase the risk of unauthorized access. Poor network segmentation creates problems because attackers could move from one part of the network to another one. Outdated software and weak cloud security controls also expose the organization to cyber attacks. So I would like to invite Prashant to present this next slide.
Thank you, Sanip. Hi, everyone. My name is Prashant. Now I'm going to explain the slide 5, which is risk assessment. Here we assess the likelihood and severity of each risk. Financial loss and privacy breaches were considered a critical risk because ransomware or stolen patients' records could cause major operational and legal problems. Data loss is also critical because healthcare organizations rely heavily on patients' information for daily operations. Reputation damage and legal consequences are also important because a breach could reduce patient trust and lead to penalties from regulators like the OAIC. Can I have a next slide, please? So in slide 6, we talk about defense in depth architecture. Our security approach uses defense in depth model. This means multiple layers of security are used together instead of relying on a single control. The first layer is a perimeter defense using a next generation firewall and VPN gateway. Other layers include multi-factor authentications, encryptions, endpoint protection, staff awareness training, monitoring system, and backup recovery solutions. If one layer fails, the other layers still help protect the organization. Can I have a next slide, please? So the slide 7 is basically about the security solutions. This slide explains the main security solution we recommended. Multi-factor authentication helps stops attackers from using stolen password. The next generation firewall filters malicious traffic and improves network security. VPN encryption protects remote access connections for doctors working outside the clinic. Encryption protects patients' information both in storage and during transmission. Staff training is also very important because many cyber attacks start with human error, especially phishing emails. So finally, endpoint detection and response tools helps detect malware and ransomware actively in the real time. Can I have a next slide, please? So slide 8 is backup and disaster recovery. This slide explains the 3-2-1 backup strategy, which is very important. The organization should keep 3 copies of data, stored on different media types, with one copy kept offsite or in the cloud. One backup should also be immutable or offline, so ransomware cannot encrypt it. The regular recovery testing is important because backups are useless if they cannot actually be restored during an emergency. We also recommend quarterly disaster recovery testing and multi-factor authentication protection for backup administration. Thank you so much, everyone. So I would like to invite Mr. Anish Dawadi for his presentation part.
Thank you, Prashant. This is me, Anis. So I'll be talking about the proposed network architecture. Well, this diagram shows the proposed secure network design. Traffic first processed through the next generation firewall and then through the DMZ where the VPN gateway is located. The internal network is separated into four VLANs. These include the clinical VLAN, staff LAN, guest Wi-Fi VLAN, and administration VLAN. So this design improves security because guest users and general staff cannot directly access sensitive clinical systems. Moving on to the next slide, we'll be talking about VLAN segmentation. Well, this slide explains the purpose of each VLAN. The clinical VLAN contains the patient management system and has the highest level of protection. The staff LAN is used for normal office workstation and printers. The guest Wi-Fi network is completely isolated from internal systems. The administration VLAN contains servers, backups, and IT management systems. The main principle here is least privilege, meaning users only get access to what they actually need. Moving to the next slide, we'll talk about justification and framework alignment. This slide shows how each security control addresses specific threats and aligns with recognized security frameworks. For example, multi-factor authentication helps prevent credential theft and phishing attacks. VLAN segmentation reduces lateral movement inside the network. Immutable backups reduce ransomware damage. These controls also align with frameworks such as the ACSC Essential 8, ISO 27001, and Australian privacy regulations. So let's move to the next slide, which is conclusion. So to conclude, MedSecure faces several serious cybersecurity risks because it handles sensitive healthcare information and depends heavily on digital systems. The biggest concern include phishing attacks, ransomware, weak remote access security, and poor network segmentation. Well, our recommendations focus on practical improvements such as multi-factor authentication, network segmentation, stronger backups, encryption, staff training, and endpoint protection. These controls work together to improve security, reduce risk, and help the organization protect patient information while meeting Australian legal requirements. Well, thank you for listening. We are now happy to answer any question. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.